Today is Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for Survivor 50, Week 10.
The conversation just kept going and going and going just like we thought. This was one of those kind of episodes for us. I'm anxious to hear what all the super fans had to say. Look at it in total and then maybe, hopefully, come up with some ideas for who's going next because I'm not 100% clear.
Not
like I ever
I went
am,
in after the episode and made my picks and put Emily.
All right. Well, let's see if that stands after you hear the feedback.
I don't know that that's going to stand. I didn't even at the time, but I just thought I want to get something in case I forget on Wednesday or something anyway. So busy week. So
you were thinking she's going to double cross Devin. She's got to go.
Well, and I thought, who she got left? Who's going to believe anything she says?
I don't think anybody's going to believe anything she says at this point.
So, I don't know.
But it's been that way for a while.
Then I started thinking, well, maybe that's what protects her.
Exactly.
So
she looks like a golden goat.
It's like we know we can't
point.
Trust her or anything she says. And
Yes.
Yes, we all want her out, so no problem. We can get her later.
Not particularly skillful at the game itself. Not a threat. Slap a leash on her.
Well, I started feeling more like, I don't know why, but the more when we rewatched and all the different things, I started leaning, and now I'm kind of leaning a little bit toward Jonathan. Just because I thought, oh, he's upsetting a lot of people.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
He got a lot of celebration at the auction, which we've watched, 4 times now?
And we loved it.
Yeah.
But I thought, I looked at the jury and on the rosters like, well, there's Chrissy, Coach, and Stephanie and there's just Jonathan and Joe there. And though I thought, but they could go after Joe because he's such a challenge threat. So I don't know, but I that's just where I am right now. Leaning toward Jonathan.
All right, that's the setup for the listener feedback show. That's where we hand the reins over to the other Survivor super fans, check in with them, see what they thought, see what their perception of the season as a whole is, and the most current twist, which is the super beware advantage from Mr. Beast, how all that resonated or did not resonate. I'm sure we'll get a variety of perspectives here, as we always do. Help us see things through different lenses. Anything we need to say before we get going?
Nothing I can think of.
If for some reason I leave some extraneous audio in, we're waiting on someone to come help us with a problem here at the house. And just in case I goof that, that's why. Because we'll have to pause and interrupt. It never ends, right?
Well,
so
let's don't put that out there, but even if it has
that's what
been
it's
the
like
case.
owning a house in general. But yeah. Yep. So just fair warning in case I goof that somehow. We got how many super fans?
20.
20 super fans checking in this monumental week. Maybe we'll weigh the balance at the end and see perhaps the best episode of the season. That's at least where my head was when I had finished watching it the first time.
Well, at least so far.
Yep. All right, let's kick it off with Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling. Oh my goodness, guys. You know something? I truly am now enjoying this season. What a nutty episode. Even though we had another celebrity in Mr. Beast there. But honestly, this twist was not bad. So I'm going to let out a great big wow. What a nutty episode, and man, my head is spinning. Mind you, I didn't realize it was a 2-hour episode. I thought maybe we might get another double boot, but it wasn't meant to be, and I'm somewhat glad about it. But what can I say? You had the Survivor auction, and I like their probes were a little bit old school, where they could share money. Remind me of when they first brought it in Australia, Africa, when Big Tom had the pancakes with Ethan. But there was some good twists in it too. Love that they all got their letters from home, even though we don't really have loved ones visit anymore. And then they had to go right to the challenge after, which I didn't see Tiff winning. I really wanted Ozzy to win, but hey, kudos to Tiff, and she needed it big time to get to Final 9. What can we say about a tribal here, the Mr. Beast twist with the Berea advantage, the $2 million layer? So just like in season 40, bro, that the players already knew. This time it's like, what, more than halfway through the season, and they had $2 million based on a coin flip. And also, imagine what if Devins got simply by chance it on, tails there with the torches, but it landed on Mr. Beast's head there, and he somehow saved himself, despite all his crazy shenanigans and chaos. Who gets voted out? Steph. And Steph, technically it was the third time you got your torch snuffed, because remember, the other time was Guatemala, but you finished runner-up to Danny Boatwright, and technically your torch wasn't snuffed. But nevertheless, sad that Steph went home. I didn't know what was going to happen, guys. I thought Ozzy was going to get blindsided, possibly. Steph steal a vote was all for nothing. Give credit to Cerie. That was the mistake of them telling Cerie again. Cerie's played, 5 times, and they don't learn. And I feel for Steph, because I really love Steph, but I'm glad she made the jury. Gotta hear her interviews. I wonder if she's upset with Cerie or anyone else that turned on her. Cerie and Ozzy seem like they're in a good spot. Devins dodged the bullet because he got that idol. Aubrey, too, I think, locked out. I think she gonna watch out. Joe is somehow hanging on as well. Jonathan is somehow in a good spot, too, but he's playing good strategically. I give him credit. And again, I think Emily gonna watch her back now as well. All right, guys, this is a very good episode, though. Didn't like the Jimmy Fallon twist. Like this Mr. Beast twist a little better. Not saying it was great, and it made for good television, and I'm truly digging this season, guys. Making up for lost time in the 40s. If only we had a 39-day season. That's the one thing missing. All right, guys, well, take care. Woo!
Whoa, thanks, Pete. Yeah, even Stephanie, she caught that question in one of the interviews. I forget which one it was, about the whole 39 versus 26. And she was clearly on the side of 39 just grinds you more, just wears you down way, way more. 26 is hard because it's always coming at you. There's no letting up. The pedal's always down.
There's no down days.
Right. And those down days, it can have a profound impact on your ability to play the game, and it gives people more opportunity to say something, I think she said, say something annoying or stupid, which can shift the course of the game when you least expect it.
So, like Cerise saying, if Emily had said that one more time, if we were going to tribal council, I'd be writing her name down. Because I can cook the rice.
It can swing that way really quick, and you wouldn't even be aware of it necessarily.
You. It's like, writing your name down, I don't care.
Yeah. She said after all that chaos before they headed into tribal council that they had ended up circling back, at least as far as she was concerned, to vote out Devins with Aubrey as the backup plan. That's why she was blindsided by the vote, because that's what she thought. And she said both Jonathan and Cerie discouraged her from flipping the coin because she had considered it and she was talking to them about it. And Cerie told her, I think you're fine. Stephanie said that she told Joe that Ozzy and Cerie were tight and not to tell them the plan for that, when they were focusing on voting Ozzy. So I think she already had some concerns with Joe at that point. She also said Joe got really mad at her because she had we saw Jonathan share it with her in the episode, but she also shared with Joe that she had that Stila vote, and she said he got enraged because she hadn't shared that with him. And so as far as he's concerned, that's a deception. That's a lie. Just like he was fired up about Devins deceiving him. Yeah,
at least he's consistent.
She said he got mad like a little kid. That was funny. And she felt like she had lost him at that point, too.
She probably had.
She also said that after they had voted, Joe told her, "It's you," and that she replied with some very adult words in his direction at that point. None of that, of course, was shown, but she told him where to go or something to that effect.
Well, I think Joe, even the fact that, he saw her as wanting to take out someone he was close to, which was Ozzy. I think he's closer to Ozzy. I don't think he wanted to vote Ozzy.
Oh, so. Definitely not. No, he is dead set on settling that score with Devins. That's some vindictive energy. He doesn't like that he didn't come off looking good in that exchange and got heated all the way back at the beginning.
Well, maybe it'll help that he got Stephanie because she upset him too.
Mm-hmm. She also acted to deceive him.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, Pete. Next up, we got a call from Rebecca.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. This is Rebecca calling from Northern California with my feedback for episode 10. And what an episode 10 that was. That was a perfect friggin' 10. Hey, does anybody remember when we were giving our preseason predictions and feedback and our fearless Facebook leader, Jeremiah, said, I think the twist on Mr. Beast is going to be that you either double the prize or lose your vote. Yeah, you guys remember when Jeremiah said that all that time ago? Wow, he was right. Well done, Jeremiah. Well done. I loved this episode. It was so fun. I am such a Rick Devens stan. I've always loved him since his first season. Broke my heart when Devens went out in fire because I really wanted him to win. So to see him pull off such an extraordinary coin flip and raise that pot to $1 million, Devin's gonna stick around for a little while now, which makes me happy because I'm still missing Kristen terribly. Those in danger next, I really think it's Emily. I think she's rubbed too many people the wrong way. And speaking of rubbing people the wrong way, I truly believe Stephanie went out because she went up against Suri, and she could not keep a story straight, and I just loved watching Stephanie try to lie to Suri, and Suri's only reaction was literally to go like this. I love Suri so much. I really think she is so poised to make this season. And honestly, I think if somebody else outmaneuvers her and gets Suri out, then they should win this season because Suri just got her fingers in all the pots. Everyone thinks they're working with her. Everybody thinks they're working with Suri. And Suri has her in her polyamorous relationship with Rizzo and Ozzy, and she is so loyal to them, but she will cut your throat if you try to go against her rock-solid alliance. I can't get enough of watching Suri play. I like Aubrey this episode. She kind of got to me a little bit. I'm always very bland on Aubrey because I find Aubrey to be very bland. But I love when she refers to herself as a psychopath, eating the grubs. And honestly, guys, just between us friends, I skipped the reading of the letters because I didn't need to watch everybody cry this week. But there's a lot I want to go back and rewatch. I want to watch that tribal council all over again. That was so cool. I loved the whole Mr. appearance, and I had no idea who he was before. Literally, and again, thank you, Jeremiah. The only thing I knew was what Jeremiah said in his feedback all the way back in the wintertime, because I was wandering the streets of YCC. I was like, oh, he gives prize money. Oh, and sometimes he doubles it. Okay, that will be interesting. Perfect 10 of an episode for episode 10. I'm really enjoying this season. Joanne and Stacy, thank you so much for all that you do, and can't wait to hear what everybody else's reaction was to this fun episode. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye.
10 was a 10. Great summary. Thanks, Rebecca. Next up, we got a call from Ryan.
Hello, Joanna Stacy. I loved this week. I'm a huge Devins fan. And so this week was amazing. I loved it. Joe is just driving me bonkers. I don't see any way he wins the game. He's not really playing. He keeps playing both sides. He's running back and forth to people. He's spilling secrets. He's the type of person that you just don't want in the game. Stock up, Devins. He's probably not going to win, but stock up for me is Devins. Amazing. Causing chaos. Flipping the coin. Phenomenal. Loved it. Stock down. Joe, I mean, you're not doing anything. You're kind of running around. Winner pick right now. Man, Sari feels like she's on a winner's trajectory. And I don't know what they got. I know what they have to do. Stacey, you talked about it a couple weeks ago. I think this is the week they need to do it. I think this was the week they needed to make a push to get Suri out. Again, phenomenal episode. I loved it. I haven't listened to all the feedback because I watched it late and I was planting a peach tree for my family in the yard. But I've missed the last 3 weeks and wanted to give you my feedback. Have a great day.
Awesome. I'm glad you got that in, Ryan. Peach tree. Yes, we approve here in Georgia of your planting of the peach tree. Next up, we got a call from Rashmi.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my survivor friends. What a fun episode. I really enjoyed it. I was so happy to see Rick Devens make it to safety, even though he was my vote out point. Now, the auction, I really enjoyed it. I had to watch it twice. It was good fun. I think so far it has been one of the best episodes, but the downside was this person, Jimmy Beast or whoever. I just found all that thing with the suitcase and the beware and all that pretty boring. It just didn't mean nothing, but it was so funny. Jeff had to say the most well-known person in the world. Oh, really? Well, if he's giving $1 million, Jeff is always going to say that. But it is high time that Survivor prize money was increased, and I'm happy about that. But that last minute, it was really up Rick's alley when they said the choice was given at the tribal council, and I was so cheering for him. The immunity challenge was good. Happy to see Tiffany win. I felt a little bit sad to see Steph go, but I really don't know why she didn't throw Jonathan under the bus and tell everybody it was his idea to bring up Ozzy's name. It wasn't hers originally. I don't know why she was protecting Jonathan. And oh my goodness, the indignation on Joe's face that Rick used a fake immunity idol. That gave me a chuckle. So I agree. I think Jonathan may be the next one to go, but I'm looking forward to the next episode. That was good fun, and I enjoyed it, especially the auction. And to see Aubrey eating the witchetty grub. On that note, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Rashmi. Next up, we got a call from Tara.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. This is Tara, New York, checking in after episode 10. And I just got to say, wow, that was such a spectacular episode. As far as TV goes, one of the best I've seen in such a long time. I loved every second of it, and I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. That being said, I hope production realizes how insanely lucky they got here, because this could have gone wrong in so many different ways. Yeah. I don't want to dwell on the negative. I just hope that they realize they struck gold here and leave it at that, never to be repeated. After the episode ended, I was looking over all my little notes about everything I loved this week, and for some reason it triggered this old memory that I haven't been able to shake since. Totally aging myself here, but when I was a kid, I remember trying to stay up late, just late enough to watch David Letterman do his top 10 list. Oh, yeah. I have no idea where that memory came from or why it's still there, but since it is, here's the top 10 things I loved about season 50, episode 10. Number 10. Devens being Devens, always showing us how much he loves this game and always playing hard with a sense of humor, especially when he's at the bottom. Number 9, Joe's face. Every time Rick does absolutely anything, he despises him so much, it cracks me up, and I'm watching out for it at this point. Number 8, a real auction. No more lost votes in actual bidding. It was amazing. Number 7, finally getting a glimpse of the old Aubrey instead of that grump. Number 6, watching Stephanie try to lie to Cerie's face once again and then get all twitchy and weird because Cerie isn't buying a word of it. Number 5, the scramble and absolute chaos back at camp. Always my favorite part of Survivor. Number 4, Cerie. Once again, showing why she's the best to never win, saving her ally and controlling the game. On a side note, I'd love to get your thoughts on the vote because I actually thought Stephanie would have gone home even before the coin flip if Devens wasn't safe. Number 3, Rizzo explaining how Survivor works to some of these hypocritical players, telling them to man up and own their games. Number 2, Mr. Beast surprisingly keeping a pretty low profile and letting the players shine. Finally, at number 1, Rick wins the coin toss and Stephanie goes home. Especially after her exit interviews, I'm more than happy that Stephanie will no longer be on my TV, but I'm sure happy we're going to see a lot more Devons. As for next week, I am super nervous after the preview shows Sari in a panic, Ozzy crying, and especially Aubrey saying it's now or never. I have my fingers crossed she's not coming after my girl Sari. I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to say after such a huge episode. Thanks so much, Joanna and Stacy, for all you do as always. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, Tara. Let's see. I don't think they would have needed a live tribal if it was always going to be the Stephanie vote. To answer her question, was it Stephanie from the beginning? I don't think so. I think they were going to take the easy way out and get rid of Devons.
Yep.
So that's my initial thought on that.
He made a pretty good pick.
Well, and becoming immune really sealed it.
Well, yeah. That didn't hurt anything, did it?
No.
But even before that, he did make a decent pitch. I don't know that it would have held, but I still enjoyed the pitch. And, he was kind of outing Stephanie, so...
No kinda about it. That was really clear.
That was,
She said that she really had to manage herself there. She knew if she lost her cool, she was dead for sure, but... There was definitely a shift she felt, and so much of it is about perception. And Devons he was in like premium perception management mode there.
You could feel her intensity, talking to everyone, trying to get the Aubrey vote going, and I thought, yeah, and especially since she had told no one of her idol or
steal a vote.
Steal a vote. That's her. The steal a vote. Though we find out now that Joe did know, but
she had told Jonathan. That was in the episode. Also.
Yeah. But still, I like. Who was it? Oh, it was Tiffany. Like, well, why would you share information with someone you're voting out?
Yeah.
So
Tiffany was on top of it.
And
that necklace gives you a certain awareness. It puts your mind in a different mode where you can be more aware of what's going on.
And when Stephanie said she didn't do it, and she and Jonathan were pointing the finger at Rick, he's lying, and then Stephanie said Aubrey and Rick approached us, and it was one thing when Rick said it, but the one that carried the weight was Aubrey turning to her and going, "Really, Stephanie?"
Yeah.
You're going to say that to my face?
She did misspeak in the course of the pressure.
It's like, oh, yeah.
Good stuff. Thanks, Tara. Next up, we got a call from Laurie.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy and all the rest of the Survivor fans. This is Laurie calling in from Southwest Florida. Just wanted to give a quick feedback on, I really did enjoy this episode. I was pleasantly surprised at Mr. Beast. I know him from watching Beast Games or whatever it's called, so I was familiar with him. And he had a segment on one of his shows that Jeff was at, so this isn't the first time they've collaborated. But I enjoyed the twist. I thought it was pretty fun. I'm not sure if it's going to help Devons too much in the long run. I think it's going to be a case of if he can fake out his idol, maybe he can go a little further, but no one's going to let him go to the end because they all want the $2 million. They don't want to give it to him, no matter how thankful they should be that he stepped up and did that challenge. All in all, I did like the auction. It was fun. Seemed like everybody was able to get something. I noticed Joe didn't really seem to be bidding on too much. I would have thought that he would have been one of the ones who was hungry and wanted something, but he must have been holding out for something that he thought was really good. But all in all, again, another enjoyable episode. Loving this season. Can't wait for the rest of the feedback to see what everybody else thought. Have a good one. Take care. Thanks for all you do. Bye.
Thanks, Laurie. Yeah, Joe tweeted out, or I forget where it was, but he basically said he did place some small bids, but he was really holding out for a burger or a steak, and that's where he tripped up. He didn't end up getting anything, and from what we can see, neither did Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany did.
Yeah, so.
Because we went back and looked, because I thought it was just Joe that didn't get anything, but then we're like, but what did Tiffany get? It's like we couldn't think of it. So we went back and looked, and nope.
And we didn't ever see her with anything. There's certainly been times in past seasons where there was an auction and they didn't show everything that was available, and you usually hear about that in the interviews afterwards.
Yeah, but she did make a bid on the mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm. We did hear her bid at least
Aubrey
once.
won it.
And she held total disdain for the veggie tray that Jonathan got.
I want no carrots.
Yeah, no carrots for Tiffany. All right, thanks, Laurie. Next up, we got a call from Samantha.
This is Samantha, a.k.a. Survivor Rocks from Texas. We got extra Survivor this week, and it delivered once more. I've always loved the Survivor auction and the new chaos and comfort twist. Aubrey was a champ with her grubs, and Jonathan with his rubber band slug. Now, we have never heard of Mr. Beast, but it was still interesting and entertaining to watch. Joe and Flippin' Emily need to go. Congrats to Tiffany on her day 19 immunity win. Letters from home bring tears and smiles. How special for Cherie and all of the cast. Emotional to watch as well. Jonathan is playing like a villain. He's got what it takes to win. He throws Steph under the bus. That coin flipping twist has Devin's name all over it. If I was in his position, I would have done it too. I called heads, my husband tail. Cheers for Mr. Rick Devins. Steph got the short end of the stick, and we didn't want her to go either. Now, the only downside of this episode was it definitely made it difficult to go to bed and sleep, as we were still wound up talking about it. As the visions of Rizzo, Ozzy, and Cerie danced in my head, I finally drifted off to bed.
That was similar for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we got to sleep till about 4 a.m.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Samantha. Next up, we got a call from Chris.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. Hey, Survivor fans. As usual, I'm running late again. Joanne and Stacy, thanks for your show. Thanks for all you do. Fans, you guys are great. Gosh, I love this season. It's so good to just be back with Survivor. I talked to an old friend the other night I haven't spoken with in years, and we were huge friends when we lived near each other. And you know what it's like to reassociate. And that's what this season has been. So, CBS, keep bringing us former players if you want. That's fine with me. I'm familiar with it, and it's like letters from home. So, we finally had our Beast Mister episode, and it was great. I don't know anything about this guy, except he's got a great smile and seems like a nice person. He'd probably do well on Survivor. He and what's his name? Zach Brown. I'm on to you, Jeff. Devin's had a TV moment, film at 11, and I mean 11 a.m. Central Time, because right now it's 10:48, and I got to get this in. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, Chris. Reassociate. Yep. Letters from home. You worked it all in. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Drew.
Hey, Joanne, Stacy. Hey, everyone. This is Drew. I'm sending this in on Friday night. We just watched the episode, and I thought I was going to die of old age before this episode ended, before they finally voted. Why did this episode last a year? I don't know. I mean, I guess there was a lot of big moves, a lot of big things. Are they going to have another commercial break before they vote? Are they going to have another one? Like, 4 commercial breaks during tribal council? I was about to lose my mind, and the kids are here. I thought, oh, we're starting it not too late. No. I don't remember what time we started. It was 100 years ago. Anyway, I'm a little bummed because I really, really have always liked Stephanie, and I think she did kind of ironically fall on the sword a little bit, because here's the thing, why does everyone tell Cerie things? I think that's part of her strength, but then she immediately turns around and tells everyone else, and then this time it came back to bite her. So I just feel like loose lips are thinking all this shit, especially this episode. Also, I know Mr. Beast by name and by reputation, but as a human, I don't trust him, and that's all I'm going to say on the subject. Yeah, I guess that he got his dopamine hit by injecting a lot of variables into this episode and into this season, but just like with the Jimmy Fallon thing last week, it just takes so much control away from the players who are working so hard, and I think that there's some element of control that has to be maintained for this game to work. Does that make sense? You have to, the social part of it, and I know that that's the twist sometimes, is that they take the control away from you, but then with Christian, I'm still sitting here, that just seems so wrong, that they forced him not only to vote for himself, but also to expose that twist. So I was kind of stoked for Tiffany. I was proud that she won on a meaningful day for her in the game. I think Emily is somehow just coasting through this. I think Joe is full of it, as always. I think Jonathan is, I love that guy, but my gosh, I feel like he's digging and digging and digging, and eventually it's going to become his grave. Probably because he's going to die of old age before this season ends, too. So, and by the way, last week, I think you guys, or the week before, you theorized that I forgot to put picks in. No, I didn't. They were just terrible. This week, however, I did forget, and so they rolled over, and I think I had Christian safe last week, so this week, too. I did not have Stephanie safe, though, so I might have scored 3 points this week. Anyway, I'm consistently in the basement, but only a few points behind, so it's still not over. Anyway, still a good episode. I just am so tired, and I stayed awake. Kudos to me, but dang, that was crazy. Hopefully that we don't hear the pandering and the obsequious cow-cowing to Mr. Beast anymore, and we don't have to worry about that coming up. The kids thought it was fun, but whatever. We don't really watch him. We don't watch much Mr. Beast, so have a great weekend. It is still a good season. Still like it. I like the auction a lot. Let's just say there was a lot of food, a lot of comfort, and not a lot of nasty, just enough to make it Survivor auction. It's just so nice to see them just eating, really nice looking food. So, all right, talk to you later. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Drew. Yeah, like you and Tara are talking about, there was a potential for this twist to go way, way wrong. If for whatever reason they ended up drawing rocks and it had been Sari that drew the rock and she flipped the coin and it was tails when she called heads, and now she's gone from the game. That's like the most extreme case we were talking about later that night that we could think of that really exemplifies the fact where they've taken all the control away from the player. There's no agency left. There's nowhere for her to go in that kind of a scenario, and that's why the construction of that, even though it broke the right way, he hit heads and everything came out roses and all that had the potential for being the worst twist of the season.
Yes.
At least, especially from your perspective, if something like that had happened. So
yeah, I really don't want to see that.
Somehow 50 seasons in, they still haven't figured that point out.
I don't want anyone to go home on the flip of a coin for a regular kind of, it's like, okay, and it worked this time and this and that, but now let's let that be. And also some of the other stuff, I don't want to see it over.
Let's come up with a better plan. Do you need a rubric? No. I can help you develop a rubric, Survivor Entertainment Group, for how to decide if a twist is really going to make sense or if it's tragically flawed like this one was. We just happened to break in the best possible way.
It did, and it was amazing. And I think Jeff would feel that the risk was worth the reward. But, and it was amazing. I'm not saying it wasn't, but...
We loved it. Absolutely loved it. Best episode of the season.
I want to
also
see
could have been the worst. Just like the way Christian lost all autonomy, the way they had that structured.
Yeah.
When he didn't solve the puzzle.
I truly do want to let them play the game. Let's see what they can do socially, physically,
Even if it's just the opportunity to lie and say that didn't happen or something else happened. Or
whatever.
Some way to still fight for themselves.
Not,
instead of signing it all over or you're gone.
It's like, no,
yeah.
I don't.
Definitely agree on that point. Thanks, Drew. Next up, we got a call from David.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh, and I am not as agitated this week as I was last week. It helped hearing the other Survivor fans talk about how they considered Christian's journey to end up being in such a lose-lose situation. It just seemed like the handicap was... he was in such a bad position. It was almost something you couldn't get out of. The only thing I was thinking about is, would it have been possible for him to have read the letter to everyone, but not show them the letter? And maybe put the letter away, and if anybody asked to see it, he could just say, well, there is a P.S. to it, but he's not willing to share that. And at least it would put some doubt in the minds of the others that he was withholding a hidden agenda. Also, I wonder if another player had gone on the journey and with the same results, would I have felt the same way if they weren't one of my favorite players? I'll just never know. I do know that with the double elimination, I really felt bad for Chrissy that I think the votes were really more going toward Coach than Chrissy, and she was collecting collateral damage. What we are seeing, though, is the players who don't have a backup plan. In the tribal council, when Rick found his fake idol and Jonathan was the first one to get up and say, what do we do now? It seems like that happened again in this tribal council where Jonathan was up and Joe were trying to figure out what do we do. And I think that that's one of the reasons why players like Rizzo and Suri are so far ahead is because they plan at least a step ahead. Okay, if this happens now and it changes, then what are we going to do after that? I do agree with you, Stacy, that this episode far surpassed the double elimination at the moon. I can't remember what it was called. But I mean, this one really did have an effect on the game. Again, if he had gone home, that would have been sad to see, but at least he had a 50-50 chance, not 1 in 6 chance of saving himself, and he knew that they were all gunning for him. At least it seemed that way. And I don't think that Stephanie's mistake was that she went for Ozzy. I think her mistake was that she should have said it was Jonathan's idea right up front when she went and talked to Suri, because now she's taking the fall for Jonathan's plan. Anyway, I haven't listened to her exit interview yet. I'm looking forward to that. I thought it was a really good episode, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, David. Yes, she said she did not want to be that person. She said her kids were fond of saying snitches get stitches, which is funny given they're from New Jersey and all, but she just wasn't of the mind of doing that.
Well, didn't you say that Christian said that he could have finished it in time, but he kind of got lost in the middle of the puzzle?
That's what he said in his interviews, yeah, that he got hung up in the middle on some of the middle pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more than one that tripped him up.
And thought he took too much time, that it was doable.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Thanks, David. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California. I've been very much lacking on sending in feedback for this season, but so far this has been a very fun season to watch. My thought process in general so far was all of the twists and turns that the fans have put into the game have all been fun to see. It was cool to see Zach Brown make an appearance and share his Survivor story. I love the fact that Jeff Probst actually competed in a challenge, and the cast roasting him was just so much fun and amusing to watch. I'm sad to have seen Christian go out the way he did, having to vote himself out of the game, but I did see that he had a chance to be on Jimmy Fallon's show for his redemption. As for this most recent episode with Mr. Beast, I have seen some of his stuff, but I don't know much about what Mr. Beast does to be able to explain to others his backstory or why he became famous. With that being said, it was not the smartest move for Rick to come clean on his fake idol play, and I can see that costing him. He would have most likely been out this episode if it wasn't for the Super Beware advantage, which I will talk about soon. The auction hit differently this time around with no losing of votes, keeping the money that was not spent, and the whole idea of chaos versus comfort, which had some neat back and forth. It was nice that everyone had a chance to get their letters from home through the auction and not just some people based on a reward. Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
This episode was crazy from the auction right into the immunity challenge, and I feel like Tiffany is on a roll right now with immunity wins. The chaos that happened at camp, knowing the Mr. Beast advantage was an unknown, I knew we would have a live tribal from what was being shown with votes going every direction. The advantage was huge, doubling the prize money and having a coin flip decide their fate of staying or going, and it does not surprise me at all that Rick went for the advantage and ended up calling it and being safe and gaining a real idol. The only thing I might have changed on this would be after the advantage reveal, and depending on the coin flip, leave that as the tribal and not have anyone get voted out that night and have that Beware advantage be the decision. For the rest of this season, I'll try to do better with sending in more feedback, but so far this has been one of the funner seasons I have seen. Absolutely. Great to hear from you again, Jack.
I'm curious about what would have happened after the coin flip and they come back, okay, and Jeff just says, okay, it's time to vote. No discussion. We've already discussed time to vote and didn't let them have the live tribal.
That would have been interesting.
Because now they have that security blanket, because before they weren't allowed to speak out or get up and talk to each other during tribal council. But now that live tribal is a thing, they don't worry as much about it, because, man, just get up and go over there and ask or tell or whatever. Yeah, but if he had come back and just said, all right, time to vote.
Well, Stephanie said there was a backup plan to do Aubrey, to vote her out as far as she was concerned.
Well, according to
so
Stephanie,
that was discussed. Well, what that tells you was discussed amongst a group, for sure.
Well, and yeah, sure.
So I guess you would go with that. Thanks again, Jack. Next up, we got a call from Parker.
Hey, it's Parker, Indiana, and oh boy, where do I start? This is the Mr. Beast episode. We've been dreading this for so long, but it was fun. It was good. I liked it. Maybe that's just because I'm used to the celebrities of it all at this point, so I'm just desensitized to, oh yeah, that's right, makes sense. But I thought that this was good. I thought that the twist was good. The auction was a normal auction. I mean, you had the chaos comfort, whatever, but that gave us some fun moments. We've always kind of had that stuff with the auctions. A covered item might be bug eyes. A covered item might be a whole pizza, whatever. Oh, you can choose this option or this option. This one was a whole pizza. You just got a slice. That's how the auctions always work. So I didn't mind this. I've certainly loved this a lot more than the whole run around the jungle and then there's no bidding, because it's just, oh, I have the most money. Let me go first. Super fun auction. Lots of fun moments. Rick Devens was incredible at this tribal council. I was eating this up. And Jeff is a big fat liar. It is not about the Mr. Beast of it all. Devens would have done this anyway. This tribal would have gone like this anyway, regardless of if Mr. Beast showed up or not. And Jeff knows that. But the twist worked out. It was fun. It was satisfying. Devens is the perfect person to do this. I thought Rizzo might have stepped up and done it, but it's Devens' MO. And this was probably Devens' highlight episode here. It was incredible. I mean, Suri is still running this game, and Aubrey also got a lot of positive content here, talking about Michelle's win and being a mom and how that's changed her and how she's approaching this season differently, and she's finally starting to get that positive content where a lot of what she's gotten this season has been not very positive. So her narrative is certainly building. Ozzy's narrative has been building. Devens' narrative is building. But I think Suri's got this season. I don't know. We'll see. But I loved how much fun that Devens and Emily were having in this episode. This was such a fun episode. And then you get the three grouches. You got Jonathan, Joe, and Stephanie, who are just, I hate that they're playing the game. Oh, man, this sucks. Super funny to see Stephanie especially just get her comeuppance here. Now, I had her safe, so a bit of a bummer for me. But hey, it worked out. This was incredible. And now Devens is stacked with an idol that everybody knows about. Might as well just play it next tribal. But man, this was incredible. The only thing is, it worked out. If it didn't, what a waste of a tribal. Like Devens just goes and we don't vote and just really waste the night. But it worked out, and so it was amazing. Really a highlight of the season for me. I love this. I can't complain. I thought it was great. But yeah, that's all I got. I will see you all next time.
Good deal. Thanks, Parker. Next up, we got a call from Kim.
Hi, everybody. This is Kim from North Carolina. I love the episode where Chrissy and Coach left, and I pretty much agreed with the consensus from last week's episode. I get tired of Jeff talking and all his hype, but he said a great thing this week. He said, tiny goals to get to big goals after Tiffany won immunity. The auction was fantastic because everybody seemed to get something, and the chaos was more hype than chaos. I don't think Jeff knows I'm in his audience, because I would only know who Mr. Beast is because I teach kids and they told me about him. He lives in North Carolina. The best thing about Mr. Beast was how excited Devens was to flip that coin. Otherwise, it was meh for me. Every time I see Ozzy confiding to Jonathan, I wonder, why is he doing that? My notes say, wow, Stephanie said Suri's name. So later during the tribal, in my mind, Stephanie was telling a lie, but I didn't listen to the recap. Maybe I missed something. Anyway, The editing during this part was very entertaining. And now I'm on to my third page of notes. The editing here was awkward. They had this big conversation where Stephanie sounds to me like she's lying, and it's very exciting. And then Jeff says, let's get back to the important thing. What about Mr. Beast? Why is Jeff pandering to this Mr. Beast so much? What's going on there? I'm so happy that Devins won that coin flip. Everything about the way he acted is exactly why I like him so much and why the other players are nervous about him. From what I hear, $1 million is nothing to Mr. Beast. I didn't think the extra $1 million was that big a deal. It must have taken forever to film that tribal because that whole thing was super long for me. This season is great. I'm loving it. My only note for Jeff is that I'd like to see some brain games, either facts about Fiji or Survivor history or the other players. I always thought those were fun. I'm thinking Emily or Aubrey for vote out next time because I think they're the ones who might try to stir up a scheme against somebody that Sari doesn't want to go, and you better not go after the people that Sari wants to keep. Thanks everybody for everything. Thanks Joanne and Stacy. Talk to you next time.
Oh, that's spoken so like a teacher. So once that brain game, facts about Fiji and all that. And when Kim said that, my mind immediately jumped to the notebook we learned about last season. The book that they give them on the flora and the fauna that had the bandied sea crate that bit him, all that. So yeah, there's a book of facts that they give them that's always there, accessible to them in camp about that area, and that you could draw on for that challenge, the brain game challenge Kim's thinking of. Good idea,
cool.
Kim. Next up, we got a call from Pat.
Hey, Joanna, Stacy, this is Pat calling from somewhere in New Mexico this Saturday morning. Sorry it's a late call, but I was waiting till I got good signal. Really enjoyed the episode. Thought it was really good. Mr. Beast didn't disappoint or let me down like I was afraid he was going to. I didn't realize who he was, so I have got acquainted with him afterwards, and it's interesting. I agree with Stacy. I don't think that the chaos before Tribal really had anything to do with what was going to happen in Tribal Council, just because you never heard or they never showed us people talking about what was going to happen with Mr. Beast. So my question is to you guys, is every afternoon leading up to Tribal Council this chaotic, or was this extra chaotic? And I feel like it's always this chaotic for the most part, but I think they wanted to build up the Mr. Beast thing and wanted to maybe make us think that they were more chaotic because Mr. Beast was going to be at Tribal Council. Now, that's just my opinion, but I'm curious to what you guys think. And then I liked that they gave an extra $1 million. Never even considered that. But I knew he was going to pick right because of the time left, but I think everybody knew that. And I would have lost because I would have picked tails. So thank God I didn't do the flip. I don't think that Rick maybe is in much trouble this week as he was last week. I think it may be Jonathan. I guess we'll all find out. Oh, one thing is Aubrey getting a winner's edit? Because if we remember back at the very beginning, she was wishy-washy. Some people thought she may quit. She was sad and crying. And then this episode, she was a beast, eating those grubs. She had a lot of airtime, even at Tribal. So are they playing her to win? I'm not sure. I don't really hope she does, but I wouldn't care if she did either. My guy Rizzo hanging in there, but I don't have much faith in him, but it's still fun to watch. Love this season. Love you, Joanne and Stacy. Thanks for all you do. See ya.
Thanks, Pat.
I said the same thing to Stacy after. It's like, woo, Aubrey's getting some highlights and a lot of attention right now, and that concerned me.
You worried she might take some of the shine off Sari?
Maybe.
Yeah, it does seem like she absolutely got a much more positive edit. This was not grumpy Aubrey. I want to go home. I'm tired. Aubrey, all that. I don't have an alliance. Another thing to note, too, is it could have been Aubrey that kicked the whole Ozzy vote off.
Yeah, because I think it actually was. She did not say his name, but she did.
They didn't show her saying it. Yeah.
She did say,
these idols.
These idols. Well, hello, there's only so many people
when she was talking
idol.
To Stephanie and Jonathan, yeah.
And
then Jonathan starts talking about targeting Ozzy. Yep.
Yeah. Jonathan brought the name up, even though he was trying to get her to, I think. If you listen, what do you think? Right. He's doing good with that, but these players, come on, they should know all that by now, that's just a tactic to get you to say it first.
Yeah, she's definitely, so you want that too. You want multiple possibilities. I think this goes to your other question also. It depends how chaotic it is truly before tribal council. Depends on the alliance numbers. If it can go a lot of different ways, you have the potential.
It's more frantic.
Yes, and that's what we got with this one, where multiple names. When it goes past 3 names coming up and then start cycling like that the chaos level is much higher. There are times where that's just not the case.
Well, and even Joe saying, well, shouldn't we at least come up with a consensus before we go to try? And Emily's like, I don't know what's that.
Right.
So, I think that was the biggest thing, is that they still didn't know there'd been so much passed around.
When they mismanage the time or they don't have the opportunity, time gets cut short. Because we know that sometimes production, we've heard, will give them more time before they go. So they'll hold up before getting them on the boat and taking them over to tribal council so they can have a little more time.
Again, my point, they know they can have a live tribal now. So maybe they're not as concerned with making those decisions more concrete before they leave the camp. Because, we'll talk about it there if we need to. We'll decide last minute. So they have that backup plan.
I don't know that they didn't have a backup plan, or they were just withholding from Joe.
Oh, no, I mean that they have the opportunity to have live tribal, and which they didn't used to have, but
which could be taken away from you at any time. Which I know some of them are thinking about that too.
It's like to Joe and Emily's case. It's like, well, if you don't know, maybe it's you.
Right. So less time to consider it will make it more chaotic. If the alliance numbers are maybe more even, that can cause it to be more chaotic. If it's not like a big majority that can sort of decide and then ride it out. Yeah, editing's going to propose some alternative, or let the person on the chopping block be talking about an alternative, just so there's a little mystery going in. But I don't think they're always that chaotic.
And to Pat's case, I think Sari kind of answered that by saying, well, usually it's at least 45 seconds before something changes. This time it's like 30 seconds.
That's more to Pat's point, that they're always like that. I guess that would be a counter to what I was saying.
That's what I said.
Good deal. Thanks, Pat. Sorry I wasn't clear. Next up, we got a call from Joe.
Well, that was a bust. Jeff was funny saying that Mr. Beast was such a big factor in the game. Well, it is meaningful for the winner, and if Devins would have called the heads or tails wrong, but in the overall gameplay, he had no impact on the game, and only the people that said he did have were just playing for the camera. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all Survivor fans. This is Joe from Huntersville. Did anyone see the bug climbing up the back of Aubrey's neck during her confessional? So it looks like Rick told everyone about his idol. I guess he was just beating Emily to the punch. But to give her props, she seemed to sit on the news for a while. So we get to the Survivor auction. I am so happy that they didn't have the lose your vote part of it. Also, who said count his money as part of Devin's winning bid? I think it was Stephanie, but not sure. Aubrey eating the grubs? I may have gotten down 1, but not 2. No way. I like that Jonathan buys the item and only gets the penalty, while Ozzy pays nothing and gets a great reward. All in all, I think the auction was a net positive, regardless of the Mr. Beast appearance. Did you notice the height difference between Mr. Beast and Jeff? According to Google, Mr. Beast is only 6'2", and Jeff is 5'10". It looked like more than 4 inches difference. I guess not seeing any of the Mr. Beast videos, I may have missed out on some of the expectations. But someone on Facebook said that they thought Mr. Beast would offer a contestant money to drop out. I don't know how that would fly in the Survivor community, but Devin said it best. A shot in the dark is 1 out of 6, and flipping a coin is 50-50. So, for next week, why is Ozzy crying? That's all I have. I look forward to hearing what the other super fans have to say. This is Joe signing off.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, I just assume he's reading his letter.
Yeah, that it's more letters from home impact stuff. Yeah, that is a perfectly logical explanation for what it might be. Good deal. Next up, we got a call from Johnny.
Hey Joanne and Stacy and Survivor fans, it's Johnny from Wisconsin calling here. Did anyone else notice that Tiffany never left Cerie's side? Wow, I mean this is going to be a core 4 now between Ozzy, Cirie, Rizzo, Tiffany, and since there are only a group of 3, Devins, Emily, Aubrey, and a group of 2, Jonathan, Joe, is there any path where those 5 work together to get out one of those 4? No. So Cerie's in the greatest position ever. That being said, I feel like it's going to be either Emily or Jonathan. If it went, I think, the 4's way, they would probably want Emily gone. You don't need any more allegiances for Rick Devins. He's dangerous enough on his own. You don't need him to have Aubrey and Emily on his side as well. That's only going to be more chaos for them. So personally, I'd keep Joe and Jonathan around. I feel like they're not going to be able to do too much damage on their own. And oh man, Rizzo's just going to be insufferable for the next couple of episodes because his catchphrase from last season was, "I feel like $1 million, Jeff." Now he's going to keep saying, "I feel like $2 million." That's just annoying, but oh well, he'll just play his part. If I wanted to make a really premature Final 4 prediction, I'd say why not? Tiffany wins Final 4 challenge, brings Rizzo, and then makes Ozzy and Cirie fight and fire. That seems like a pretty good finale, I think. So anything that happens outside of that to me would be kind of a shock, especially if Devins gets his way into Final 4. That would just be hilarious. That would make my day. You know what would make my day even better? I have a new bucket list item now. Thanks to Pat's idea of going down to Georgia and spending a night watching Survivor with Joanne and Stacy. Forget going on Survivor. Bucket list items being on the podcast. Oh my goodness. If this really needs to happen, if I were to come down there, I'm bringing Wisconsin gifts there. That means the sausages, the cheese, the beer, it's coming with. That's going to be awesome if that ever happens. Other than that, yeah, having a blast with the season. It's fun. It's gotten me out of my chair a couple of times. I've really, really enjoyed it and love hearing from all you guys every week. Keep it up. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Thanks, Johnny. Next up, we got a call from Justin.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy and all the Survivor superfans. It's Justin from Michigan. So I think this might have been my favorite episode of the season, and it just happened to work out perfectly for what this twist was with the Mr. Beast. But I have to acknowledge that it could have been disastrous. So we could have had either side of this. This just happened to be best case scenario. If Rick Devins isn't there, if he would have gotten voted out earlier, we have a more cautious player in his place, and they all have to go to rocks, and Cirie has to flip the coin, and then she leaves. This goes down as one of the worst twists ever. So It's a little results-based oriented that Rick was in trouble. He was so excited and willing to take part, and that it actually hit. Because even if Rick chose to do it and it was unsuccessful, I think a lot of people would be annoyed by it. Well, that shouldn't be the reason he goes home. And it would have just altogether been anticlimactic, really. And then the other issue I had with it was the time. I think they should have had a tribal council either way. So even if Rick goes home, they still have to vote somebody out. Go. And then at least for anybody who happened to look at the time left, it was obvious he was going to hit because there was 20 minutes left when he was flipping the coin. You knew there was going to be a tribal council. So if they would have had a tribal council either way, then that suspense would still be there. Okay, maybe he'll hit, maybe he won't. Either way, we'll still have to vote somebody out. So that would have been one improvement I would have had. But overall, I was psyched about this. Usually I'm, lounging on the couch. I was standing, I was jumping. It was exciting the way it all worked out. Now looking ahead, I'm going to have Jonathan going home. I think it'll get back to Sari and Ozzy that he, along with Stephanie, but he was actually the one leading the charge on Ozzy. And I think Ozzy's done with just letting things go. I think he's at the point where he's been targeted enough. He has to start taking out people targeting him. Him, Rizzo have idols. Sari has an extra vote. Devins now has an idol. So a lot of exciting things can happen, but I think it's going to be Jonathan or Emily, and I will be having Jonathan going. So looking forward to what everyone else has to say.
All right.
What?
Thanks, Justin. Well, he's feeling the same way that I started to feel. I'm just not sure exactly why, other than I think he's upsetting a lot of people, and that it was him and Stephanie, that got the heat this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably more it. But I think that Justin and you, honey, and Jeremiah, and all the people that was aware of the time, you were not in the moment fully.
Not like you. No.
Because I didn't know, didn't care,
Right.
didn't think about it, was in the moment.
You got to enjoy it even more.
I did because of that. So I'm glad you didn't highlight it, because sometimes you will, and you'll be like, well, they're going to do because, but he didn't do that to me this time. So I was totally in the moment, clueless about the time.
Well,
so.
and part of it is, like Drew was saying, there's so many commercials. When we rewatched it on Paramount Plus, it was only an hour and 15 minutes long with no commercials.
Drew?
And that was, well, yeah, I think that's going to help you, bud, since you're not trying to watch it live.
Yeah.
If you can swing it, I would say it's worth it for that, at least. Thanks again,
Cool.
Justin. Good job. Next up, we got a call from Jeremiah.
Okay, so now that is my new favorite episode of season 50. Hey everybody, it's Jeremiah here, and yeah, what an exciting episode of Survivor. First, we had the auction coming back that felt kind of like old school auction to me. Not a lot of shenanigans, and the shenanigans they added to it was just stuff like them having to eat bugs, which really fits very well in the Survivor 50 theme of celebrating 50 seasons of Survivor, because obviously eating gross stuff has been a big part of the show, so I really like that. Then we had the exciting challenge, followed by a lot of chaos back at camp right before Tribal Council. And in all of this getting topped off by this wild Tribal Council involving the Mr. Beast Super Beware Advantage, where Rick Devens was able to do Rick Devens things. So a lot to love from this episode. Now, a lot has been said about this Mr. Beast Beware Advantage. It's true. They did kind of get luck that someone didn't go out because of rocks. But to be fair, they knew by the way they designed this that was never going to happen. There's always somebody on the bottom that would have been willing to flip that coin, giving them a 50-50 shot of staying in the game. Not to mention, it also gave them an idol that helped save them for the next Tribal Council. And Rick was that perfect person. He has been in danger. He's not in a good spot in the game. Why not go for it? Now, granted, I never want to see someone go out on a coin toss, but I'm okay with this being part of Survivor 50, where we're doing fun, wild stuff. The only downside for me was we actually watched this live, and right before he went to go flip the coin, I looked down at my clock and saw we still had 20 minutes left of the episode. And I was like, oh, well, obviously he gets the flip correct. So there was that negative. The drama was taken away from me because I paid attention to the clock. That was my fault. Although maybe they could have structured this a little bit differently so it wasn't so obvious that he was going to get the flip correctly. Now, I wasn't too surprised about the vote. I knew there was going to be Stephanie. As soon as Cerise said, I want Stephanie out, that's how I turned to my wife and said, it's going to be Stephanie. Which sucked because I had her pick safe, but totally worth it to get this episode. The only other thing that I tracked for this episode is how much time my 24-point USB Aubrey got in this episode. She got a lot of time. This whole speech that she made about trying to make sure she doesn't make the mistakes she did in the past and win, boy, that sure sounded like a heavy-handed winner's edit type thing, didn't it? Makes me think she's going to have a big moment in this next episode, which terrifies me because then that makes me wonder, is she going to go after Sari? which I have to admit, I'm very worried about our next episode. You know we're getting a double boot soon. Next week should be very fascinating. It will probably be maybe someone more obvious like a Jonathan, but we'll see. I need more information. But yeah, that's my thoughts for this episode. And until next time, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Yeah, I think Justin had the right solution that they were going to have to vote somebody out regardless. That way it would have kept the mystery in on the coin flip. Good stuff. Thanks, Jeremiah. Yeah, definitely they're positioning Aubrey so that we can consider someone else instead of the tremendously dominant Suri.
Also showing the clip of her talking about Michelle and how she won and how she did all of her pitching right there at the end and was able to win that way.
Well, it wasn't just that, but
well,
yeah.
I mean, that was
how
part of
Aubrey
it.
was framing it. Yeah.
That's how Aubrey framed it.
Yeah.
And they showed it. So
If
that's
what
also
Aubrey,
part of what made me nervous.
Yeah. And that's if Aubrey thinks that's all it was instead of the difference that the social game can have, she's still got some things to learn that I'm sure
but
Suri will
she
teach her.
She learned some things from that. So
You
we'll
hope
see.
it's
We'll
the
see.
impact of the social game and having managed that somehow better.
Well, and then it made me nervous when Suri talked about panicking. It's like, no, Suri, deep breaths,
Oh, and the
calm
next
down,
time on, yeah.
calm down, no panicking.
Right.
Bad things happen when you panic.
Lose focus. Good deal. Thanks, Jeremiah. Next up, we got a call from Jen.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen in California, and here are my thoughts on Survivor 50, Week 10. So the Survivor auction was awesome. However, I really wish we would have seen more chaos, especially since Aubrey and Jonathan both delivered with managing their chaos like bosses. I feel like they must have been tipped off that the loved ones' letters were going to be an item, because by some miracle, everybody had at least $20, which was the requirement for them to get their letters. I wish that they would have done a family visit in person because I like those a little bit better, but the letters were fine. And they tugged at the heartstrings like they always do. And since I've had teenage boys in the last decade, I definitely know who Mr. Beast is. And I actually like him myself, so I was really excited to see him on Survivor, and I was hoping that it wasn't going to be something cringy. And it wasn't, in my opinion. I think he was there for an appropriate amount of time. And I know what the coin always means. The coin always means that the prize package is going to be doubled. So that wasn't a surprise to me, but I was totally excited for it. And I'm glad that the coin flip worked, because I think if it didn't, this episode, which was one of the best episodes I've seen in a very long time, might have just been a huge downer. I was stressed about the coin flip all the way up until Devins was getting ready to flip it. And then I just looked at my clock because I was watching live, and I knew with 100% certainty that he was going to hit the 2 million, because we still had 20 minutes left in the episode. But that didn't squash our excitement here at the house, because of course we were so excited to see Devins live to play another day. So I think that my decision on the Mr. Beast cameo was that it was a big success. I enjoyed it. I think that Jimmy Donaldson is a great kid, and his donation of an extra $1 million to the winner of this season is more than generous. But anyway, back to the episode as a whole. I think that all of the scrambling that went on before Tribal Council was absolutely mind-blowing and head-spinning, and I loved every single minute of it. It was so chaotic, and the chaos of the pre-Tribal Council scrambling was only matched by the scrambling at Tribal Council, which was just so fun and stressful and just an amazing experience to watch. I loved it. Now, was Devins messy, extremely messy, in just laying bare Stephanie and Jonathan's dirty laundry, I guess you could call it? Yes, absolutely. Do I think Devins is going to last much longer? No, I do not. But this is the exact Survivor that I love to watch. Exciting and messy and stressful. I still think Suri is playing the best game. She's the one to beat. I feel like the odds are on Emily to be voted off next week, but I had Jonathan as my vote off this week, and I think I'm just going to keep him for next week as well. I think Devins is going to live to survive another week or two. But if they keep playing like this, I think it's going to be impossible to predict who's going home moving forward. Anyway, that's it for me. I can't wait to hear everyone else's thoughts. Till next week.
Thanks, Jen. Those are definitely the front runners, Emily and Jonathan.
Absolutely.
Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and wasn't that truly epic? Good luck topping this one, because to me it delivered and even exceeded on all of the promise of chaos that Jeff kept talking about. But let me talk about a few of the players here, starting with Ozzy. This guy is far more serious this time around, but I thought he was sort of coming off a little bit cocky at the beginning of this episode when he was talking to Emily. And that was definitely a throwback to the Ozzy of the past, but he reined it back in eventually. Then there's Aubrey, who had been so serious that I think she isolated herself from everyone. In fact, at first I sort of felt like she was regretting being there, although if so, I think that's changed. And it's nice to see Jonathan being very hands-on in terms of gameplay this time around. I like the fact that he's actually got a voice in this season, and that he's actually thinking strategy, rather than just winning challenges. Then on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Stephanie. Was her new game plan to lay low? If so, it worked, because she was also sort of isolated from everyone else. She was always just an afterthought in people's plans. I've always loved her, but she was just so bland this time around. Sort of like Joe, whose biggest moments in the game so far has been his reactions to Devon's. I mean, that face he had on when Rick revealed to everyone that his idol was fake had me shaking my head. Has he ever watched the show before? Because you'd swear he believes that Devon's has brought the game to a new low or something. And is Rizzo less annoying? I'm at the point where I'm finding his input to be interesting. So, yeah, our players have definitely changed up their game in this season, which might be why I'm loving it so much. It's nice to see familiar faces acting so differently from what I'd normally expect. But is anyone else finding all of the over-the-top exaggeration reactions distracting? We've had camera hams before, but here in 50, I'm finding it very distracting. For every OMG jaw drop, my eyes just tend to roll back in my head. I think that some of our players are playing for the camera more than they are themselves. So what would have happened if someone didn't have $20 left or didn't want to take the possibility of reward or chaos that Jeff was offering? I think it was presented so that no one would back out and that any stragglers could be peer pressured in, so I guess the question's moot. As for the auction itself, it was incredibly fun to watch because, truth be told, it seemed to me that everyone was a winner in one way or another when it came to food. Even Emily had no problems with those jumbo grubs, and poor Cerie, her eyes were just bigger than her tummy, and it's a shame that her toothpaste win came before her food win. So I'll be honest and say that this episode would have been epic even without Mr. Beast, who, if you haven't noticed, is a really tall dude. That entire montage before Tribal began with plans changing minute by minute really showed the chaos that was much promised throughout the episode. And I'm just going to say here that I have Jonathan in my sights next to go. Alas, I won't be here next week, as we'll already be in London as you're listening to this. So the roster's going to be out of sync for a week, but it'll be back up to date just before episode 12 airs. So everyone take care. Catch you all in 2 weeks. Bye.
Some thanks, Paul. Have a great trip.
Yes, have a wonderful time. Wow.
I think Cherie did use her mouthwash one more time, like right as they were headed over to the challenge. You see her do a big spit take.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did get to refresh her mouth, but right before the challenge, maybe.
Well, you noticed the jewelry. I mean, Chrissy and Christian and Dee especially are reacting to things with the big and the, just the whole, even more so than Coach.
That's been a big thing. Yeah, Coach was downplayed, right? Yeah.
It's just kind of
he seemed muted this time. Yeah.
So it's not about me. I don't care.
They were, yeah, exactly. that does fit it. What we perceive as his mindset really well. Yeah, there's lots of pandering going on. The way that they were, I couldn't tell if they were being facetious and having fun with it, or if they were trying to give genuine lines to Probst around the whole Super Beware challenge and its impact. And
they were trying to give him what he wanted. They know what he wants.
Yes. I agree 100% there, but you could watch that and think, oh, they're making fun. You could totally think they were making fun of him when they were doing this, although we've heard in the past that he'll get really irate and that there's been more than one group of castaways that have been cussed out by him when they weren't delivering what he wanted from them at a tribal council. So
well, and if he's asking questions and they continue to do avoidance,
or just being cute, or
being overly
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah, sure.
He doesn't suffer anyone doing that from what we've heard in the past.
But these people he's more familiar with, he has a connection to a lot more in, and he is humored by them as well in their reactions.
I think that some of them, especially Joe fits this mold, were chosen because they can deliver those moments, those narration moments. He went to Joe a couple times.
Well, even Aubrey's, shrugs and Jeff's, oh, that's when you were brought back for 50. She played that beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she did. They do know. So sometimes I think they're having fun. Sometimes I think they are pandering. Like Paul was saying, all the OMG faces, all the big wide-eyed
totally,
reactions
yes.
are for the camera. Yeah, there's definitely some camera hogs at work. They know how it works and what more camera time can mean for them. And in some cases, it translates into more work in the future on other shows.
Mm-hmm. That too.
Well, how do you think Cerie's going to get voted out this next episode? How's that going to come to fruition?
And I refuse to think about it.
You're not going to entertain it at all?
No.
What if Aubrey does make a move, and this was these edit tweaks she's getting
Then
were a precursor?
Aubrey's game will have to die.
I guess there's enough numbers that they could tie, right? Cerie, Ozzy, and Tiffany and Rizzo with Cerie's +1 vote. She could tie them, so they could go 5-5. That might be why they wouldn't risk it. But this was the time to try to pull that off. It's just the people aren't there.
Yeah, I still think Cerie's okay for now, unless she loses it. No, not just blindside, but unless she loses some control of herself and her ability to observe the way that she does, like nobody else seems like. But
I think the biggest impediment to doing something big this next time for Rick and Emily and Aubrey and Jonathan is you just can't count on Joe. He's shown time and time again that you can't count on him. Just like you can't count on Emily to keep her mouth shut. Joe will undermine your plan every step of the way.
Well, Rizzo's frustrated because somebody is not keeping their mouth shut.
Oh, Paul asked about Rizzo. I think that's the benefit of the edit. That's why he's not as annoying. They're cherry picking moments for him for some reason.
Yes, and I like this Rizzo much better.
You like the cherry picks?
Yeah, I do. I agree with you.
You're supposed to. That means their edit's working.
And I do. They know how to manipulate me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm okay with that. But I really think Rick could end up deciding, because I don't believe that he's going to give Emily his idol, no matter what she said to Tiffany.
Yeah, she's definitely seems to be thinking she's going to pull off a similar moment that she did in 45 when she convinced Bruce not to play it or encouraged him not to play the idol, that there was another primary target.
Pretty sure he's seen your season, Emily.
She wanted to take advantage of, yeah.
So, yeah. No, why would he give anyone his idol with as much heat that's on him, no matter who says what?
Well, the pitch you make is this is how we get him.
Yeah, no.
But I got to think, given where he's been in the game so far, that he can't be willing to give that up, that protection, that guarantee for himself.
No, I don't think so at all.
Looking ahead a little bit, we're let's say he manages to hold on and doesn't play threats, he bluffs.
Devins is who you're speaking.
Right.
Okay.
You're looking at a situation where you could end up in a final 5 where 3 idols are active. What if Cerie gets knocked out in one of those weird circumstances? The other person wins immunity. She's the only one, again, that's not eligible.
I was just going to say, it wouldn't be the first time it happened to her.
Right. So it could go that way.
But I really don't want it to. I really
the majority of the fan base, I think, at this point.
She's played such a good game to date.
How would that be for a bookend?
But I feel like she's getting a little beat down now, and she's not keeping her calm as much, that people are really starting to seriously annoy her.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think her best functioning is when she's seriously annoyed. So
I think the jury so far is really not on her side. I don't know for sure about Christian or Dee, but
Oh, I totally
Coach-
think Dee's on her side.
Coach had said that she was emotionally manipulative, and Stephanie in her exit interview said absolutely that is happening. She kept telling me, Sari kept telling Stephanie, "Oh, we're like family. You're like a sister to me."
That's why they should
all these
give it to
comforting
her.
things.
If you respect the gameplay,
Before
give
she
it to her.
pulled the football out from in front of it, before
Yeah.
Stephanie could kick it again this time. Poor Stephanie. She's had the football yanked away by Sari so many times now.
Yeah.
Trusted her again, and yoink.
But did she really? She threw.
Stephanie said she did.
Stephanie did throw Sari's name up for sure. We heard her do that.
Mm-hmm.
She might not have been the first to say Ozzy, but she did say Sari. So come on, Stephanie. It's not like you didn't throw her name out. She threw your name out. It's not like, oh, we were besties and just no. It didn't go down that way from what we were shown. But still, I like Stephanie too.
She's
so.
still thinking it's Jonathan?
Oh
no, Emily. You said you chose Emily.
Jonathan. Well, I have Emily right now, but that doesn't mean... for me, it's between Emily and Jonathan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm a little concerned about what Rizzo's did. Oh, what was it? Rizzo had posted that he wanted to flip the coin.
Yeah.
Till Sari
he
looked
over
at
at
him.
Sari, and she gave him the sit your butt down look. That's funny. I'm going to include a link too. I've got like the usual links to the couple of the interviews. And there was a good interview with Rick too, talking about how that all played out for him, and
with Dalton, yeah.
Yeah, and his family watching all this happen. He watched this episode with his family and his kids.
That's worth a read for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't see any deleted scenes. I don't know if there was one, and I just didn't find the right place for it. But this is like the second week in a row, and historically, that kind of stuff does start to fall off about now. So
wait a minute, it's raining again.
Mm-hmm.
It said it was going down to 1%. It's raining again.
Yes, it is.
We've been in the middle of a massive drought with lots of wildfires, and we are not directly in the wildfire area. It's to the east of us and other directions too. But
there's much welcome rain this weekend.
Yes,
for sure.
it was heading that way when I looked earlier, and I thought it's past us and heading that way. So I was like, no, send them the rain. We've had enough. Put out the fires.
Okay, that was our squirrel moment here at the end of
I was watching the squirrels out the window too, so and the hummingbirds.
All right, she managed her focus right up until the end.
Oh well.
There we go.
Obviously, we've been on too long.
Yeah, is that it? Well, we want to say a huge thank you to everybody who sent in their thoughts on this episode. This one was a doozy, and I'm with several people who commented here. It's like, how's it going to get better than this? Because this was phenomenal. Thankfully, it was phenomenal. It could have broke really bad, but things did turn out. We loved hearing from all of you, and your predictions and your analysis and insights help us see the episode through different eyes and think about it in different ways. We want to say a big thanks to Christy, Erica, and Pat for your donations. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
And if you're playing in JSFL, don't forget to make your pick for one person voted out as far as we know, and 4 people who you think will still be in the game
Good luck
at the
with
end
that.
of the episode. Yeah, that's been the hardest for me.
Are you managing your safe picks okay? You got enough to get you to the end?
Well, now I'm starting to think, oh, shoot, I've already used 3 on Tiffany. I was going to put her safe again this week. I went, wait a minute, that'll be 4. And
Might need to save her.
she and Sari have been working together. What if she goes to the Final 4 with him? Mm-hmm. So I thought, I better put somebody else safe and save on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've got several that I have 3 on.
Yep.
Anyway, I think I'll be okay.
We'll be back on Wednesday with that recap.
Have a good one.